Alrighty, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back. It is time for some more Starcraft 2, and I honestly looked at a bunch of replays before deciding which one to cast. All the names, all the players, they all look so good. But I thought, for the first time in a while on this channel, I will cast a Serral game. So in the top right-hand side of the map, we've got none other than the world's greatest player. It's Serral. And in the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have got, what if not the world's greatest Terran at the minute? It's Cure. Cure, an incredibly strong Terran player in the Korean scene, recently a Code S finalist. Plays incredibly well. And if there was going to be a Terran who'd take down Serral, I'd probably put my money on Cure, to be honest, as he really shines at aggressive plays. Like you might be thinking like, oh, TY is better at that than Cure, and I'd be say, well, you know, that's true, probably, but at the same time, I feel like Cure's style will be better against than TY's, as TY is more defensive, and you do not want to try and play a defensive style against Serral, as he is the best at it. And so I think Cure's rampant aggression might be the trick that we need. Now, I was on the fence about whether casting a Serral game. I generally try and avoid, honestly, casting the mainstream games that everyone's going to watch, which would be something like this match. But I thought, you know, I gotta see it. I gotta see this match. I gotta cast it, as I think Cure's one of my favorite Terrans, and I gotta know who I'm talking about whenever I mention Serral's name, so I do have to watch his game sometimes. And the reason for that on the channel, that I don't cast him a lot, is because there's every other commentator and their dog casts Serral too. Like, whatever, as soon as one of his games pop up, like, oh, I gotta hop on that bandwagon. So I generally try and avoid that. But of course, I know you guys obviously like Serral. I like watching his games. I love his style and everything like that. So if you do want to see more specific games like of Serral's or even other specific players, let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, make sure to go ahead and slap that like button. Can we try and hit 100 likes on this video? That would be absolutely amazing if we could. You guys are blowing the channel away with the support lately and everything like that. Trying to hit 10,000 subs before the end of the year. Reaper comes on in for Cure. Gonna start harassing those lings. Not gonna get a drone, I don't think. Queen pops out, all is well. And yeah, let's just take a look. Speed on the way for Serral. His third base is being delayed a little bit by the pesky Reaper. Cure had the SCV there to physically block. Very quick base. This basically allowed the Reaper to ensure that it could be the Pain. And this is one of the things that Cure actually does more so than other Terrans, I'll say, which is really try and block the third base of the Zerg, which is something that I definitely don't mind. Over the Reaper for Cure, it's now going to be changing position, heading towards the Watchtower, going to have that vision. And the Serral will actually be fine to throw up his third base when he wants to, but for now, just popping out 10 drones. No rush to get that third up. Reaper still seeing that there is no third, and oh, look at this from Serral, a 2-base lair. That's rather, it's not uncommon. 2-base muta is more and more common lately. It's more like 2.5-base muta these days, just because of the legacy of the Void economy. The Zerg still gets up to third, but it is primarily a 2-base lair, and then eventually you get up to Spire and all that. Now, the Lings already have their speed, so the Reaper's got to be extra careful. Here behind this, I guess we should talk about what he's doing, is gonna be getting up his third command center. He is a player who will happily throw up third orbitals, and it's actually something that he does an absurd amount of times because he is confident if the game does go later. I think against Serral it's a little bit risky, but here does this so much if you watch his TVZs. And then of course he is getting up his bile behind this. So kind of like a 2-on-1 off with a third CC involved, as he is going to have that double barracks production. So he'll have some stimmed Marines. He's got just 2 Hellions. So he had forgone them in order to ensure that he had the money he needed to get up that third CC, be producing off these racks, and then get his third already floating over. So very quickly timed third compared to Serral's much later third hatchery, or not much later, but less prioritized since he did get up the lair and is getting up to the mutas. So the economy up here is going to be very good. These Hellions got to be careful. Looks like one gets surrounded. Does Cure keep it alive? Looks like the answer is not quite. However, Serral does lose some Lings going after that So not bad really on either front. The Hellion also being a pain, shooting the Lings, running away. And the third base is pretty much up for Kier, so he'll be able to start securing that. We will have to see turrets get thrown down by Kier at some point. I know he's probably planning to put a bit of aggression onto Serral with Medivacs and Marines and Hellions. However, the mutas of Serral that will be coming will help shut those down much, much easier. And yeah, Hellions out on the map for Kier. Serral might be tipped off by this a little bit by seeing, well, for starters, he's going to see all the production, see the armory, and see the reactor still making Hellions, and he's going to say, oh, it's this kind of attack. It's going to be the mass Marine Hellbat attack timing that I'm going to have to defend against. So Serral immediately fires up some Banelings. He had just made a round of drones, but he's definitely going to be making just units from this point on, because he knows he's going to have to defend against Hellbats and Stim Marines, which is a very nasty combo that Zerg has to deal with. And all of a sudden, in goes Kier up this ramp. He's got 5 Hellbats. Will they split well against the Banelings? That's part of the question, but the thing is, the Marines put out so much damage that Serral has to be really decisive when dealing with this. He runs forward with his Banelings, gets a few Marine connections since the Marines don't have combat shield, and it looks like he did actually get enough connections with the Banelings to repel Kier. If we take a look, that was actually about 10 Banelings for 11 Marines. Not an amazing trade, but the Hellbats went down too. I feel like Kier maybe could have taken a better trade there, but of course it's much tougher with without the combat shield to make those Marines a little bit tankier. Now, small engagement going out on the map right now. Hellbat's eating the Banelings, but there's enough Lings for Serral to repel this. So Serral has defended the attack. Of course, it wasn't a complete all-in or anything by Kier, as he does have up his 3rd command center. He's going to have a very strong economy and hit his macro stride after this. His +1 attack is rather late, but oh my gosh, look at this. Kier, he's throwing up 2 factories, and is he going to go into mech behind this or something like that? Is it going to be one of those odd transitions that we'll be seeing? Or is it going to be like bio-mech? Because he's getting the +1 attack, and yeah, he's throwing up some factories, so Kier's going to completely change gear on this and just go right into mech. A very late production boom for teching up to mech, as mech got a slower ramp up, so I'm going to be curious how this is going to work out for Kier. He's just going to be relying on his limited Marine production, I guess, to see him through till he's got that mech production up. He's got to be careful to keep those units alive, and he's going to want to boost out with those Medivacs because, oh lord, the mutas are coming for Serral, and Kier's got to get back home. He's going to be a little bit vulnerable while this is going on, so Serral's coming forward with his Lings, and he's going to say, what, more Hellions? How many Hellions did you make, Kier? And Kier's going to say, well, quite a few, apparently. As he fully commits to mech, he actually canceled his +1 weapons for the bio, just wanting to have the resources to go all into his mech. And now look at this, Kier's got 1-1 on the way. He's got Thor production, his extra factories are done. We'll probably see a 4th base go up soon, I feel. Although this could very well lead into a timing attack. But what an interesting game from Kier. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I also just got a little bit of a heads up to say, by the way. I am casting from a different position here. I'm actually sitting for a rare occasion while casting. So let me know if that's any different for you, because for the past month or a few months of casting, I've always been standing. Fortunately, I messed up my ankle, knowing my luck, and so we have got Infernal Pre-Igniter on the way for Kier. We've got 1-1 on the way for Serral. Yeah, so just a full mech transition. Kier's gonna have like a couple of barracks floating around, and he's always gonna have that stim and combat shield in his back pocket. But yeah, he's fully transitioning into mech. I doubt we'll see too much more bio. However, it is kind of cool that he's got just a casual 16 Marines with stim that's going with his mech composition. Bio-mech transition from Kier. Really, really cool. Yeah, let's take a look now. Next, we are going to be seeing that extra command center going up. The tank production is going hard. Now, I'm not going to say that this will be easy, though, for Kier, as Serral is one of the best players in the world at dealing with mech, because he plays the efficient Zerg style. Serral's not a guy who throws away more units than he needs to, as opposed to someone, say, like Raynor, who's probably willing to take those risky trades more so. Serral will just say, no, I'll build up an insanely good economy. I'll hit you where you don't expect it. I'll micro my mutas to maximum efficiency. And eventually, if I need to, I'll get up Infestors, I'll get up Swarm Host. Everything that I need to deal with the mech. Like, we see Serral is relying on these mutas pretty darn heavily for now, but he is getting up that Infestation Pit. We'll see what he's going to go into after this. Thors do get a shot off, actually kill a Muta. The Thors with the +1 attack, very lethal. And then as they get more and more attack upgrades, the Mutas just have to be even controlled even better and better by Serral. That's why I do like to see Zerg eventually transition away from Mutas, otherwise it's just impossible to be cost efficient against mech once the upgrades really kick in for the meching Terran. We see Kier, though, is getting up this 4th base. He's going to be setting up this rich Vespene Geyser, which will really help him out. But if we do take a look right now... Oh, Thor's shooting away on those Mutas, by the way, repelling them turrets for Kier, helping out. If we do take a look, by the way, though, look at Serral's map vision. Look at his map control. He's got creep bloody everywhere. He's just taken over the entire map, and he's actually making 37 banelings, so he is going to take the very aggressive Zerg approach to try and deal with mech, and actually just go for it. Full send. 37 Banes is no small amount. The Thors are hoping to get big shots off on the Mutas. Will they be able to land some? Kill off 2. Will another volley or 2 go off? Yes, there's some dead Mutas. These Thors, are they in position to stop these Banelings? So that's the question. Depots raised at the last possible second for Kier. The Banelings don't really get the connection Serral wanted, but look on this side of the map. Banelings roll in, they clear out the PF. Not the most efficient trade for Serral, but he did really reset the army of Kier. I think that still went okay for Kier. Namely because he's got an extra command center about to finish up. He'll be able to float that over, re-secure that base. And honestly, for Kier, I think we need to see another CC go up right now. He's got the money for it, or he can definitely afford one. It's going to be it's a little bit tight money-wise since he just lost his 4th, but you can sure bet that Serral's going to be crashing into that base again, and you always want to have the spare in your back pocket for when that does happen. So here, he's got to pull SCVs away again as Serral attacks once more, but eventually he's going to want to float this base over. He's going to want to probably, yeah, start building up another one, because Serral is not going to relent on this. He's going into Ultras so he can keep playing this more aggressive style. I guess not wanting to play the more passive Infestor route that Serral sometimes goes for. Yeah, it is interesting to see how even Serral now is doing these more aggressive styles to deal with the mech, to deal with the Terran Turtle. Tanks are going to roll forward for Kier, get set up. Going to want to have those in good spots to prevent the next Baneling roll-in that Serral's definitely going to be doing. And this is why I want to see an extra CC start up for Kier, because this base is probably going to go down, and that's just a fact at some point. So you want to have the spare to keep your economy going. It's like having a spare tire in your car. You just lose all momentum. You can't even change it and keep things going if you get a flat. So now we take a look. In comes Serral, using Banelings to blow through those depots, now getting Lings into Kier's base, just doing massive economic damage. However, Kier has actually gone up to the Mass Liberators to deal with the Mutas, and it's going to be a close fight. The Liberators need a critical mass to deal with the Mutas, and it looks like it's actually going okay for Kier. So Serral is getting repelled with these Mutas. I mean, he's going to take the trades, but he will lose all the Mutas, which is rather expensive for him. However, Serral does have an insane economy. He is at 89 drones. He's got pretty much all the bases. Yeah, let's take a look. Pathogen Glands is now on the way for the Infestors. So Serral is thinking of later transitions, but for now he is just applying the pressure on hard. Liberators getting set up, but they will not be able to really effectively take care of Lings and Banelings. That's not something they do. So Kier, he's been holding strong at his 4th base. Serral hasn't tried to crack that, but he's just been hitting everywhere else. He's found a weak point. He keeps breaking up this ramp, so Kier's going to need good defenses there. His main base isn't really mining. His natural's not mining. His 3rd base not really mining, so Kier's taking a lot of economic damage, and he's having a hard time going up in that supply. He's still building up to a very strong army. But look at this, Serral. He's got options, and he's using them. He's getting up Ultra Speed. He's getting up Neural Parasite for Infestors. He's getting up a greater Spire so he can make Broodlords. He's going to assess the game as it goes even further and say, all right, what do I need to really finish off this nerd as we see more Banelings rolling in towards the 3rd base of Kier. Couple still hanging out in the main base as well. Kier just, is having a really tough go of it. His economy battered and bruised. All of a sudden, in comes Serral. Gonna move forward with Corruptors, which will eventually be Broodlords to help deal with the Liberators. So, not the best attack from Serral. That really cost him a lot of Lings. At the same time, though, he can afford to take trades like this. Now, though, if we take a look, Serral, he is starting to get up those Infestors, those Broodlords, which he's so good at. He's getting up Ultras. And he is going to start taking more efficient trades as he starts making these better units. Although it does seem like he's walking the line a little bit, adding in those infestors, but yes, still relying on ultras and banelings as his main unit composition, as Kier tries to get up a 5th base. And this is why I like to see the Terran always have an extra base, because I don't think Serral is going to let both a 4th and a 5th remain for Kier. As look at this. Yeah, Liberators have to get set up to try and defend this. Serral has got a whopping 48 banelings. I think he may want to hit the 4th base in this case, because Kier's focused so much of his defense on the 5th base. There's only 2 tanks here to defend it. If Serral catches wind of this, it might be hard for Kier. The extra tank on the high ground I really, really love for Kier. But oh boy, here comes the Ultras, Infestors, Banelings and all, rolling forward towards the 4th base of Kier. There's 30 SCVs oversaturated. That just means more SCVs for Serral's Banelings to kill. A few escape, but there we see 30 Banelings go down. Kier losing a ton of his economy. Gonna have to get those guys now mining up at his 5th base, but he's still only on 4 bases. And yeah, this is going really, really tough for Kier. Serral keeps snuffing out these bases. He can keep doing this. He's not going to run out of steam anytime soon. Resources lost. The gap isn't really growing too much. It's 5k to 5k at this point. 5k that Serral's down. And oh, look at this. Infestors moving under these Thors, looking for something really cheeky for Serral to maybe move in, going for a killing blow against Kier. He's been trying to hold on. And as a Terran, you're like, oh yeah, I think I can hold on. As long as I can hold on and get up that massive mech army, I can win the game. But Serral has been forcing Kier to trade out enough and is at that stage, which he does have the options to even deal with that later game mech army. So this is not a comfortable spot at all for Kier. He's going to have to deal with the Ultras coming into his base. He's got Hellbats transforming, basically just going to absorb some Banelings. Tanks rolling forward, going to try and deal with these Ultras. The PF not getting repaired super quickly, so Serral maybe could have actually got that, and that would have just been game-ending. But look at this, Kier in a very desperate spot, floating over his orbital command. You do not want an orbital as a critical base, as the Zerg has been breaking planetaries, and we see Kier expecting to try and defend an orbital. That's not really going to work for him now, is it? Take a look, these Infestors just waiting to create the perfect opportunity for Serral, sitting under the army of Kier. There's no turrets set up here for Kier. He's been busy just trying to defend everywhere. The Infestors for Serral are they're probably just like laughing amongst themselves, like, this Terran's about to get wrecked, as these full energy Infestors, and they just barely miss a scan too. And all of a sudden, in comes Kier, Infestors taking over the siege tanks, traitorous tanks. The Infestors do get focused down. Serral is going to crash forward. Can Kier hold on? Looks like the answer is actually going to be yes. However, he is really down on supply at this point. He's got the tanks to hold on against the Ultras, but the mass lings from Serral remaxing are going to be able to probably get him the win, I feel. There's really not many Hellbats for Kier. Serral's economy has been unharassed this entire game, so he remaxes no problem. All of those lings are going to get seen by Kier, and he's probably going to queue up some more Hellions, but for now, he's got absolutely nothing. These lings will just be able to spill forward and just wrap around the tanks. So Kier, he's repositioning right now, pulling everything in real close. But man, this is not a comfy spot for Kier. Every second to him is a blessing, but Serral, I don't think, is going to give him that opportunity. Taking a look right now, there's so many lings, so many Ultras. More Banelings are going to get made. Kier has got some more Hellions rolling on out. He's going to need as many Hellbats as he can possibly get to deal with this, to buffer for his tank. I just get the feeling that there's not enough right now, and it's going to be really, really hard for Kier to hold on. A Thor going to help try and zone out these. But oh, look at that. Kier getting his attention pulled away by the Corruptors. The orbital command lifts up. I guess that's the benefit of it not being a planetary, but all the tanks are pretty much gone. The Thors aren't going to do well enough against the Ultras, and Serral did just push in for the game-winning attack, and he is going to beat Kier, just rolling against him time and time again. And yeah, Serral completely controlled that game from basically the first 5-10 minutes. Like, look at this. Look at this map. It's covered in creep. Kier barely counterattacked throughout the entire game. He was just so busy trying to defend. And so Serral had free reign of the entire map. Look at that bank. And yeah, Kier was in just big, big trouble. As you want to try and stabilize as the Terran, but Serral's not going to let that happen. And I know at the start of the game, I actually talked a lot about Serral's trade efficiency. He didn't really care about that too much this game because he knew he was getting enough damage done. And he had the massive economy that he could be down 7,000 resources in the efficiency. But then even Serral was going in for the infestors, which some zergs won't even do when dealing with the mech. So I like to see that. And if Kier had stabilized, I imagine that Serral would have been fine, transitioning into a better composition to deal with that stronger Terran mech army. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, press that like button if you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button for more StarCraft 2, and then join the Discord. It's linked in the description down below. And if you do want to support the commentary, become a member, check out the various perks down below by pressing that join button. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez. Thanks for watching.